Hey, happy Wednesday, everybody. It's Doug the Wedding Officiant here with Engagement, our platform where we talk about a lot of things. Right now, we're talking about a master series for weddings coming up. It is wedding season. A lot of you got engaged between Christmas and Valentine's Day. We know that's the peak time for engagement. So we thought it would be good to have a little platform for 4 weeks to talk about, the do's and the don'ts, and introduce you to the pros that are in the area that can help make your wedding a lot easier. Let's face it, weddings are not always easy. There's a lot of work involved, a lot of money spent, a lot of decisions to be made. So we're happy to bring you this platform called Engagement. And although the name makes it sound like it's strictly for weddings, and yes, I am a wedding officiant, it's also a great place to talk about other things. So if you have some tips and some ideas or some wisdom to add, you'll see a form on our engagement page later on tomorrow, where you can fill out a form for suggestions. It's sort of our idea of a suggestion box. So I'm really excited for tonight's guests. We have two very talented individuals. Our first one that I'm about to introduce is Melody. Melody is from Sid Kemsley, and Sid Kemsley's do some great work. So I'm happy to introduce in Melody. There you are.
There I am.
You even have flowers.
I do. Perfect. I made sure I put some flowers behind me just for the occasion.
Perfect. Good. So you've been doing this a long time. Well, that doesn't sound good. Let me rephrase that. This is not your first rodeo. You've been around the block a couple times.
I have been, yes. I've been designing for about 35 years.
Wow. I remember when you were just new at Sid Kemsley's, and it was a family-owned business, and
yes.
and you were in the back room, I think, greening up arrangements, and now you're the lead person there.
Yep, I'm the owner now. Yep, my grandpa started it, and my parents ran it, and I've had it now for about 11 years.
So you're third generation.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Actually, fourth, because my great-grandfather had the rosary downtown.
Oh.
Yeah, and then my grandfather branched out on his own, started Sid Kemsley Florist, and then on from there. So fourth generation.
Good. So you guys do some great work. We want to talk about, of course, we want to show your work. We want to talk about what you do and why you do it. I know you do it because you love it. You do a fantastic job, but you've sent along some images that we want to share. And let's start with this one here. Beautiful arrangement, gorgeous color.
Thank you very much. Yep, that's one I designed myself. I think not last summer, the summer before. As we know, last year with COVID, a lot of the weddings got either put on hold or became a little smaller, or some rushed to get it done, or they put it off till this year coming up. So we hope to fit everybody in. That's all backed up now.
Yeah, there's I keep telling brides when I talk to them, and grooms or couples, about the sort of the wedding tsunami that we're really poised to have, because people postponed their weddings because of COVID. They wanted to have, as large a wedding as they could, and then a lot of people got engaged during COVID. A lot of people fell in love during quarantine.
Yes. So, actually, I've had a lot of brides just even this past week get in touch with me by email, just starting to ramp up again and want to probably get it in before, anything happens again, maybe next winter, but hopefully not. So they want to be able to have the people there to celebrate with. So
yeah, it's important. They want to have their friends and family there, and from a wedding officiant or a wedding celebrant position, we need people there to witness their vows and to be there to bear witness to the vows that they hand off. So so it's gonna be a very busy year for everyone in the wedding business. I'm hoping that your growers can keep up with all the flowers you're going to need to produce, because it's going to be extremely busy.
Yes, definitely will be. I think it will be. Yeah, last year we had a little bit of a shortage there when everything closed up, but things have been good. Like we've been able to get everything.
Good. Here's another beautiful black and white. I love this.
That is a great one.
Very organic, very simple but beautiful arrangement. I love that.
Thank you.
But you do all kinds. So this one here is also very dramatic.
Yes. Yeah, that was a really fun one to make with the thistle in it and lots of different greens. Yeah, a lot of the girls are liking the organic garden flowers. Locally grown flowers are very popular right now. They
So
really
do you
that.
get locally grown flowers as well?
We do certain times of the year. Yes, we do certain
Mhm.
times of the year. Other times, some things have to be imported, but everything's seasonal. So, like you say, tulips, iris, and that they're seasonal coming up right now in the springtime. So they don't have to be imported as much. Whereas other times of the year, you can get them still, but they would cost more because you have to import them.
Yeah, beautiful. This one here is a little more moody. I love this.
Yes, yeah, that was a bohemian wedding I did.
I like
That's
it.
fun wedding. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I like that. So, I mean, a lot has changed when it comes to flowers, but some things remain the same, like very simple, robust bouquets like this.
Mhm. Yep. Yep.
Lots of berries in there, beautiful roses, and some
Yeah. Winter
delicate.
winter wedding. It was a winter
Mhm.
one, so yeah, very pretty.
But you make everybody look great. You also make the wedding party look fantastic.
Thank you. Yeah, those are nice too. That was a summer wedding, outdoors. I've had a lot of outdoor weddings in the past couple of years, which have been nice. Doing a lot of arch work and gardeny type of flower arrangements for that.
Mhm. So we're going to show an arch in a few minutes, but you bring up the outdoor weddings. Is there additional challenges that people have when it comes to an outdoor wedding, such as having enough water or having a source to water or the heat, all those kind of things? Like, do you want to
Oh,
speak to that?
definitely. Yeah, the weather plays a big part on it. You're going to hope your day is perfect weather if you don't have a tent, because a
Mhm,
lot of them with these arches, they want to be outdoors. They want to have the trees around. They want to
mhm,
have the greenery. So yeah, it makes it a lot of a challenge for that, for
right.
sure.
And you also make the guys look good.
Yes, I do. Guys need flowers too.
Yeah. Well, in tradition, the boutonniere or corsage helps to sort
Mhm.
of identify those important people in the wedding party. Not only the groomsmen, but the moms,
Yeah,
the grandmoms, the dads, all of that, right? So if there's a boutonniere or corsage, you know that they're up
main
there.
family. That's right. Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
grandparents usually. Yes, sometimes aunts and uncles, depending. MCs sometimes they'll do that for them too.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's nice.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite flower you like working with? Is there a certain
Um,
species that you like?
I like working with roses for wedding, any kind of roses. I like peonies. Of course, those are seasonal, but I like a lot of different unique flowers. I like French tulips. I like ranunculus. There's a lot of unique flowers I do like to work with, but I like making any kind. They're all fun to make.
Good, good, good. So you also, of course, the flowers, the bouquets, really show up a lot in photographs. They're very important, and a lot of photographers like to stage them with, whether the rings or the invitation or the gown or use them as a prop. And these are two really great bouquets that show very well.
They do, especially with the seating that they're sitting on with the
Hmm.
bridal.
And people forget too, it's maybe it's an old tradition, but I mean, weddings are a ritual. They're a tradition in themselves. But the tradition of throwing that smaller bouquet at the end of the
Yes,
night, right?
yes. And
Now,
I do always give a free toss bouquet with my wedding bookings so that bride doesn't have to toss their beautiful bouquet.
mhm,
They may want to sometimes hold on to it, keep it. Some girls dry flowers out of it, but
well,
usually I do a little toss, and that way they can still, use that to do.
well, the book. I mean, I take as sort of the lead in a lot of weddings during the service. I take quite often the bouquet from the bride, so she can get poised and positioned. And
Mm.
they're heavy, and if you throw that, it's going to break.
Yeah, they can be very heavy, some
Mm.
depending what types of flowers you have in there.
Yeah, so you
Especially
wouldn't
the
want
rice stems, some of the berries can be heavier. Sometimes in the winter they've got cones in them, different things like that.
to. Yeah.
So they can be heavy, and then other times they can be very big and be very light. Just
Mhm.
depends what type of flour you're using.
Yeah, so it's something you wouldn't want to throw because it's going to do some
No,
damage,
that's
um,
right.
and you want to keep it as a memento. It's gonna last for days and it'll look great.
Mhm.
So
Definitely.
You mentioned earlier about doing more than just, of course, the handhelds and the wearables. So,
Hmm.
the arches.
Yes.
This is a great shot of an arch.
Yeah, that fun bohemian wedding I did. It was like in a kind of wooded area along a creek, just beautiful. Like
Hmm.
it was probably the coolest wedding I've ever done, and definitely the most work probably with it. But I really enjoyed it. It really made me, I don't know, got my creative juices flowing.
Good. I think I know that wedding actually. So yeah, it was a big event. It was really nice.
Yes, yes, it was.
So also to that, I mean, further to that, you also do tablescapes.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yep. I do
So it
table.
really sets the mood. And
Yep, it does. It's nice to have fresh flowers, right? Just adds beauty into it with everything else. Even the
mhm,
little details there in the plates got a little bit of greenery tied with a bow with each name on it for the
yeah,
person to sit. Like all those little details for brides, just adds to your day.
yeah, it's gorgeous. And also you can gussy up, sort of the landscape around it too. So the
Yeah,
bar
yeah,
area, looks great with some flowers
yeah.
properly
It
done in
has
it.
some
And
fresh flowers in the window boxes,
yeah,
and yeah, it's cute.
yeah, it looks great.
Nice and different ideas, right?
Hmm. So you mentioned about challenging weddings. What's been the most challenging wedding you've had to do? Don't mention any names. We don't want to call
No,
anybody out, but
no, probably the most challenging is when you have to go to a site like that. I would say probably the arches for me are the most challenging, or I've done some walls before where I've had to hang a piece up, and sometimes if you're outside it'd be rocky with getting up with the ladder and tying it on. So I usually have a helper try to hold it to attach it. And if
mhm,
it's a hot day or a windy day, sometimes that can play into effect too, right? With the weather of
yeah.
how you're putting these things up, if it's going to stay or be blown over.
Hmm.
Hmm.
So I'm assuming you don't do this alone. You have a team. I'm sure you have
I
a
do, yes.
talented team.
There's a couple designers at the shop that help me with the weddings. I do most of the bouquets, but they'll help with corsages, boutonnieres, garlands, the other things and arrangements. And then I do have a fellow that works too that helps with the setup for me, the heavy lifting part. When I get
Nice.
those pieces up and tie them up and get up on the ladder with the flowers that are high up, and yeah, he helps with that. Like I've even attached florals into trees.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, where they've hung curtains
Hmm.
up and down, and then they want a swag of flowers through it. So yeah, sometimes you need the help for that,
Hmm.
definitely.
Hmm. So, one of the things that I tell brides is, go to a professional. We have a lot of great professionals in this area,
Hmm.
and it's going to be well worth it to have someone do it right, so you don't have to do it yourself. I mean, the last thing you want to see a bride do is trying to make her own arrangement the morning of her wedding,
Exactly.
right?
Hmm.
There's a mechanics to it.
That's right. And it's a lot of stress for a bride to have to do it last minute, especially with fresh. You can't do it till at least the day before, or day of, depending,
Yeah,
that can be
and
stressful.
yeah, and then if it's a fresh flower arrangement, you want to make sure that the stems are properly attached or wrapped or concealed, so you're not dripping on your dress or making a
That's great.
mess. So,
Yeah, no, definitely all of that. Yeah.
so
And, with the florist too, we tend to know, we have all our suppliers that we know very well. We know who grows the best flowers. We know the flowers that are in season for that time. So sometimes a lot of girls will give their Pinterest pictures of bouquets they like, but maybe that flower isn't in season right then, but we can suggest something that will look just as good and you wouldn't know the difference to matching it. Whereas, that's where they get the help, right? Through your
mhm,
florist that knows
yeah.
all that techniques and mechanics.
So the process is pretty easy. A bride or groom or a couple are getting married. They book some time with you. They come in. They have a consult.
Yes.
And you talk about what they want, and maybe they share their Pinterest page with you, so you can see their style is, and then you go from there and create what is required and give some suggestions as what would be nice, and then what?
Well, then we go from there. Usually we have the consult. A lot of, right now with COVID, I notice a lot of the brides email. So I'm getting probably almost 80% email, maybe 20% where they want to get together. They'll send me their pictures and maybe the items that they need. We talk through email that way. And then usually maybe then towards the end, they'll come in and then, we'll go over everything. A lot of times if they want to see what I do have all my pictures of bouquets on Facebook and Instagram, so they can see my work that way. So they never even have to come in the store, because a lot of brides can maybe live out in BC or somewhere else, but they're getting married here. So we can talk through email. But then we do get a lot of brides that want to come in too and talk with you in person and see what you do. So usually I'll give them a quote at that point, and then, if they decide to book, then they'll book with me, and then usually 6 to 3 months ahead for coming to see me or getting in touch. But I've done it as little as 2 weeks ahead for a wedding. Sometimes it's just a bouquet and a boutonniere, and that's fine too. I mean, it doesn't have to be a whole blown big wedding. We do every budget. We suit anybody for what they need. Yeah.
That's great. So right now we're in the sort of the age of a lot of elopements. I know myself, we're doing a lot of front porch weddings and
Yes.
backyard weddings, and in the park. And sometimes it's just elopement is just myself plus the couple plus 2 witnesses.
Mm-hmm.
So I always tell them, or I ask them, are you going to carry anything like a flower or flowers in? And when they say no, I always tell them, you may want to reconsider that, because you're going to feel awkward walking in without something
Nothing.
to hang on to, right? So even if it was just something small but beautiful,
Yeah,
right?
it doesn't have to be big. It can just be something small.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, it's going to be in your picture, even if it's only the 2 of you, and you're the officiant, and there's no other people there, because it still looks nice in a picture to have something to hold.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
it adds to it.
Yeah. So do you have a floral style that you particularly like, or you think represents you the best?
Probably my hand tied, like loose garden style is my favorite. Yeah, I'd have to say that's my favorite.
So I see it quite often in that loose tied traditional bouquet, where people have like a charm or some remembrance, or something like that. So do you get a lot of that?
I do, actually, yes. Sometimes it's a necklace with a picture on it, or a locket, and usually we tie it around the handle with the ribbon and we pin it on there. I've had a memory too where somebody brought me, they wanted butterflies in it to remember their mom. I put a few butterflies in the bouquet, or they've even brought me some dried flowers that maybe was in their mom's bouquet to tuck in there somewhere to put in. So yeah, I've done a lot of memories. A lot of lockets and pictures. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, for a bride carrying that, it's they're connected more,
Yes,
especially if it's a locket or something from the past. So that's awesome. I mean, you help to add the emotion to the day in the way of flowers, which people don't always realize.
Well, that's right. Definitely. Yeah. And I think that's a nice idea, especially, if their mom or their dad's passed, it's like they're there with them.
Exactly. Yeah. So great. So if anyone wants to get a hold of Sid Kemsley's, it's easy to do. Get a hold of Melody and her team, and they'll be more than happy to walk you through. And we are going into busy wedding season. How many weddings can you do in a weekend?
Probably between 4 and 5. I can usually handle. 2019, I had 62 weddings.
Oh, good Lord.
Yeah, last year I had half, 34, but I mean, it was COVID, so a lot of them, moved it to next year, this year, right? So I have a lot moved up, but yeah, I can do about 4 or 5 a weekend.
Nice. Good. Good for you. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of hours. It's a lot of time standing and tapping into your creative juices. So, you guys do a fantastic job and keep it up. I can always tell the difference when a bride comes down the aisle with one of your flowers. So,
well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
It's nice to hear.
So before you can get to your flowers, typically you'd want to do your invites. So our next guest is a very talented stationer, as they're called, runs a stationery store here in Chatham and does more than just stationery, of course. So I'd like to invite in our guest, Mandy.
Hello, how are you?
Good, Mandy. How you doing?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for being here. So stationery is really important.
Yes.
And in this day and age of trying to communicate in other ways to people about, your event, traditionally you get the invitation, you tell you all the details. For a lot of people, that goes out, and then things change. So
Absolutely.
I'm sure you're doing a lot of sort of, you know, rescheduling invitations.
Yes, and like a lot of other businesses, we're just trying to find our way down this river to say. In COVID, we've done online greetings where very similar to this, where they've actually invited their guests into a group chat to talk about the changes that are going to happening for their day.
Mm.
We do re-invites, like you mentioned. So there's a lot of different creative ways to do that. Some bride and grooms just go with your basic send a text out, and we can do e-invites as well. So there's lots of different ways that we're trying to creatively get that information out there in this changing time.
That's awesome. So how long have you been doing this?
Well, I've been in the print business for 25 years. You're aging me a little bit here.
You don't look that old. It's not possible.
Thank you. But I've focused on weddings the last 17 years.
Mhm.
We've been really focusing on event and wedding planning.
Awesome. Awesome. So you sent along some great pictures. Did you start this business yourself, or did you just sort of see there was a need, or?
Um, I'm a printer by trade, and people were coming into our commercial copy center saying they would want invitations printed. Most of them would bring the design in. I kind of branched out and started designing, like I said, in the last 17 years or so. And I kind of created a sister company from All Kinds of Copies called You're Invited. And that's where we do focus a lot on the design of personal wedding invitations and stationery for events.
Mhm. Good. So before I forget, I know that you've had some changes in physical location where you're at.
Yes.
So not everyone knows. I mean, in this day and age, you go downtown and you see the store's gone. Of course, you think the worst.
Yes.
But you can let everyone know where you're at so they can find you.
We are so excited to tell everyone we are at actually 55 Forest Street inside the Blair Boot campus. It's an amazing building. If you haven't had a time to stop by, you should. There's about 25 businesses in this building that are absolutely amazing. It's kind of a hidden gem. I still feel like I'm downtown. I still have the historic feel. It's an old school room, as you can see here. But we are open and running. The door is open, and we'd love to have everyone stop in and see us here.
Awesome, awesome. So you sent along some images I want to share. So of course, you need to tell people. I mean, as a wedding planner myself, if you're having a dinner party, you want to tell everyone, you're having a dinner party, and you need to announce that and tell them where and when and how. So an invitation does that. So this is a beautiful invitation. This is a sort of a cluster pack, I'm assuming. It's got everything you need to know in there.
Yes, that specific invitation had a ceremony on a farm, and the reception was in a different location. So we needed to invite the guests to the two different locations. And there was a map included on there, and then your RSVP. Now, that is an RSVP where a lot of bride and grooms are finding creative ways now to have their guest RSVP. Because weddings are becoming smaller because of COVID and other things, people are using online RSVP. Websites will help out with that. Or some guests even have a personal RSVP text number that they can text back, which is kind of neat because it opens communication between your guests and you can then pass along information of changes for your day through the text easily, so you don't have to send out, unfortunately, another information change card.
Yeah, that's true. Here's another gorgeous one as well. So this one here is very nice, beautiful colors, great design, and I love how the photographer decided to use the wedding ring with the invitation to capture that as well for their memories.
Yeah, that's a beautiful invitation. That's by far one of my favorites. I love the dark berry colors. As Melody would know, those are very popular colors coming for the next few seasons.
Yes.
You see trends in colors, and those berries stay around for a long time. They're very trendy.
Mm-hmm.
Nice, nice. This is a little more moody. I like this one. It's a little more intricate.
Yes, it's a very fun invitation. Very creative. This actually The girl was an artist, the bride, so she provided me with that watercolor background, and we kind of merged the two, her work and my work together. That was a fun bride to work with.
Mm-hmm. That's great synergy to bring the her work and your work together. It becomes a collaboration at the end. What I found was really interesting is that stationers like yourself, creative ones, are looking at ways to really engage. And I really liked how these next two were, a bride and a groom, or a couple were reaching out to their wedding party, and I love this idea.
Those were by far my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
They there's two different styles there. I'm sure you'll show the other one. The first one went out to the bridesmaids. It's kind of a "Will you be my bridesmaid?" and it kind of gave a glimpse of the colors and the feel she wanted to use for her day. All of the bridesmaids wore the coral color dresses, and it was just a fun way to invite people to be either in your wedding party or as a guest as well. We also did something very similar for, there they are, for the grooms, with the cigar saying, "Would you be my groomsman?" It's just kind of a personalized way to ask those people to help be part of your special day.
I like that. I like that a lot. It's very creative, and it's a great way to connect. So this next one here is, I'll let you talk about this one here.
Acrylic.
Yeah.
Because weddings are becoming a little bit smaller, more intimate pieces, bride and grooms are wanting something that is going to be more permanent in their guest's mind. And this invitation is made out of acrylic. It's etched, actually. And they sent that out. I believe there was 55 guests at this wedding. This was prior to COVID. However, this piece kind of gave a glimpse of their day. Everything in their wedding had some type of acrylic to it. The chairs were acrylic, the seating plan was acrylic as well. And a lot of the brides and grooms are kind of going away from your traditional paper stationery.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very nice. Very nice. It's a great way to have a save the date, which is something that needs to come, early on, so we'll know that, that make sure that date's available, and make sure that that we care enough that we want you there. So save the dates are extremely, extremely important. Here's another great save the date that's got it's like a little bit of glitter on it, which is, always popular.
Always popular, yes.
Mm-hmm.
They were a great couple to work with too.
And this is a collaboration as well, because I would assume the photographer got you the image, you mock up a design, and it says it all right there. Yeah.
And we used the same font throughout all of their wedding stationery, right up to their thank you cards. So everything from save the date to thank you cards kind of collaborated together, showed a little bit of the feel for the day. She had gold glitter throughout her whole day, so that kind of tied in very well together with all of her stationery.
Yeah, it's important to have some continuity, like
Absolutely.
the font and the colors and the style, and that's what we call theming. So you want to make sure that the theme is consistent throughout, and maybe it's something very small, but it's something that people notice, whether subliminally or overtly. So it's good that you continue to do that and support that for the couples too. One of the neat things that I love to see is when people arrive at the reception or at the wedding itself, and there's a welcome. I mean, you show up at someone's event or their home for a dinner party, they welcome you. So this is a beautiful acrylic welcome.
Again, the acrylic's becoming very popular. However, you can be very creative on how you're going to welcome your guests. We've done everything from, it was a magnet puzzle piece. So each individual guest got a piece of puzzle sent to them in the mail, and they were asked to bring that puzzle to the event, and they would put that puzzle piece to create the welcome sign. So that was a really cool piece to work on with the bride and groom. We've done everything from choose a tea bag, then they provide the tea bag at the end of the ceremony. They would all have a tea together. There's some really creative ways that you can welcome your guests and have them engaged in your day as well.
Yeah, that's cool. That's neat. This one here I think is absolutely stunning. just the reflection, the simplicity of it,
Simplicity of it,
the
absolutely.
placement is gorgeous. Yeah, great work.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
The other important thing, of course, when people arrive and I always say that people are like sheep, or as I call them, sheeple.
Yes.
So they have to know where to go, right? If they
Yep.
don't always know where to go, they'll mingle about. I know even after services, after wedding service, I tell the front row, usually the parents, that that I'll direct them to get up and exit, because if they don't, everyone will just sit there and make nice. So having um, something like a chart, so people know what table they're at, which is important when you've taken the time to make selections for where people should sit. This is a very important part of the wedding now.
Absolutely. However, if your guests don't actually follow that chart,
that,
that's a problem as well.
that would
Um,
be me. Yeah.
yes, I've heard horror stories of guests just absolutely choose their own seat and away they go.
Yeah.
So there's actually no point at the seat. But you can be very creative with those. You can be very personalized with your seating plans. We can add photographs. We can name the tables, date spots that the bride and groom would go on. Names of songs that they enjoy that they'll hear in the reception. So there's lots of different ways that we can be creative with the seating plan. It doesn't necessarily have to be table 1 through it. We can name them very creative ways.
That's cool. Yeah, that's a great idea. By far, this is my favorite one, though. It's so
Yes.
personalized.
That's actually printed on a gallery wrapped canvas.
Mhm.
So we would print it. It's be something that they could keep in their home afterwards. I do know this couple, they still do have this hung in their home, and it's something as a keepsake.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. So, um, now we all know that people could go to, I'll say Kinko's, because that's in the States. We
Yep.
don't have any here. And if they've got an iPad or a computer at home, or maybe they're making them at work, on their break, where they could print off their own. There's a big difference between your desktop publishing, or using a Word document to make an invitation, as opposed to having it professionally done on the right style of paper. I mean, there's a stock and a feel to a proper invitation that people will take and they'll hold in their hand, and they'll feel the difference. So I'll let you speak to that.
Well, I believe that there are a lot of areas where bride and grooms can do DIYs. Invitations can be some of them. I like the bride and groom to kind of give me their ideas, and then I actually do the work to put it together for them. However, your invitations and your stationery is the first thing that your bride or your guests are going to see into your day. You want them to be excited for the day. You want them to be impressed. You want them to think, wow, this is going to be where I want to be on a specific day. I've seen horror stories come across when bride and grooms do their own invitations. I've even seen it where the bride put the wrong spelling of her groom's name and no one caught it. So there's just those small details that, as a stationer, myself, many other businesses in town, we're professionals. We've been doing this for a very long time. We know the things that are required. Like you said, people are like sheep. We know how to put the words on paper so that people follow the correct instructions,
Mm-hmm.
and they're at the right place at the right time on the right day.
That's kind of
I
important.
say to the bride and groom, are you marrying the right man on the right day, at the right time, at the right church?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's just important to have those kind of resources, and it's also something that, quite frankly, I don't want to DIY my invitations. I mean,
Yep. There's lots of areas where you can, and I'll even go to your house and help you out. I love doing that kind of thing.
yeah,
But leave the things that need to be done with a professional by a professional.
yeah. You can't DIY my job.
No, I don't want to try.
So that's excellent, guys. So, it's always fun talking to other wedding professionals, and it's always fun to have people on the outside that are engaged or getting married or planning events to see the faces behind the work that gets done. So I really appreciate you guys coming on today and taking a little bit of time to talk about what you do. And I hope that the master classes have been helpful for everyone. This is our third of our fourth class, so a lot to cover, a lot of information, a lot of professionals in Chatham-Kent that we've featured. So before I cut you guys loose and let you get back to your night, any great memories you want to share from either a wedding or a wedding party or a bride or a groom that you've had? And I'll have Mandy start.
I'd like to tell you about a time. It was actually, I had to look it up today, 11 years ago. 10 local businesses, most of the time, most of the businesses were downtown. We gave away a $20,000 wedding to a local company, or a local couple here in Chatham. We gave away everything from the wedding invitations, the rings, the dress, to right up to the reception. It was a really cool day. We were able to create the most perfect dream wedding for this couple, and it was so fun to work with them.
That is cool. That's very, very cool. Melody?
Oh, my most memorable one probably would be when I did that Bohemian wedding. That was just fabulous. I mean, working with the couple, they were truly the sweetest couple from the day when I met them, and to follow through with all their needs and dreams and wants just to make a reality come true. She was actually crying when she saw the bouquet and all the flowers and couldn't thank me enough after. It just, yeah, it makes you feel really good when you can do that for a couple and make their day so special. Just all the little touches come together so well.
Yeah, actually, if I'm correct, that bride is also a fellow celebrant. We're from the same flock. She's very sweet. Yeah, she's awesome.
But yeah, she's so
very
happy.
Creative.
Yes, very creative people.
Yeah.
That's what, I mean, all weddings are beautiful, all weddings are lovely, and everybody has their own dream and what they want, and you envision it for them. And that's the joy of doing it for us, right? Everyone has a unique, different wedding, and it's just fun to create them all.
Yeah, I tell every couple, it's your day, your way. Within some limitations and under my responsibilities, you can pretty much get away with most anything that that's in good taste. So it is their day, and they want to have it their way, and they should. It's their wedding.
Right.
They're creating their memories, their first steps into a new life together. So if they want purple and pink invitations and purple and pink flowers, then
that's what they get.
You shall have it. So.
They even did Halloween weddings once where they had skulls and lime green and orange. And I mean, it was all fun to do too, right? So, but that was unique to them. So, yeah.
Well, you both have creative energies, right? So when they tap into those creative energies and tell you, I want to do a Halloween wedding, you get to really, get into that. And I did my first and maybe my only Halloween wedding last year. Very, very small. So small that it was the bride, the groom, myself, the photographer, and I brought along a witness. It was a secret wedding, and it was a Halloween wedding. And so I got my creative juices flowing, and I wrote an entire Halloween script around the service, and they had decorated everything with Halloween apparel, and it was in the woods. It was just really unique because you get that surge of creative juices, which are all great for artistic people, right? So yeah, you guys do a fantastic job. I really respect both of your industries and the work you guys do.
Thank you for having us tonight. We
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
So this will be posted, of course, on our Facebook live engagement page, and it'll also be on our engagement YouTube for people to watch over and over again. And we're in the middle of also collecting your information and some of your thoughts for a little booklet people can download at a later date. So we're here to help the public, whether it's for weddings or whether it's for mental health or empowerment, anything that engages people, because engagement means coming together, meeting, talking, not just the ring you put on your finger for that special person. So thank you guys very much. Next week we're going to be talking about food, so one of my favorite topics, and maybe wine. So thank you guys very much, and have a fantastic evening.
Thank you. You as
You
well.
too.
Thanks, guys.
So much.
Doug.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.